New project on the bench right here, right now. And I don't even know, I can't even remember if I filmed this video or not, so I'm doing it again. It's one of these EVH gubbins made out in Mexico. So a bit of a fender factory in Mexico. It's one of these EVH Frankenstrats made in Mexico. It says here, look, EVH, blah blah blah, and a serial number. And whether you think these are lovely or ugly or whatever makes no difference. But this is set up like an absolute pig. So it's having a setup. I already know it needs some frets leveling. And this piece of junk on here, now I've got one of these D-tuners myself. I've never had it on my guitar, but this is an absolute pig. It doesn't push in or pull out. It doesn't want to yield for whatever reason. It's just a load of crap. So I'm going to try and set it up, but it doesn't seem right to me. I know how to set them up. It's just this one's hecking junk. I've been told to get that spring underneath and bend it right back. It needs a tremolo set up. But I'm going to take you through what this needs. Now that D-tuner it really is a piece of rubbish on this one. I don't know what's wrong with it. Now fortunately I've got an absolutely brand new one over here. This one's mine. And I didn't know at the time, you must install them on guitars that don't have a route. It's supposed to sit flat to the body or whatever, I don't know. I've got a brand new one there, a black one, which is odd because the only Floyd Rose I've got is gold. But I'll stick it on there and try it on there because I've got a flat bodied thing. Now there's an extra spring in there. I wonder if a spring's gone in this piece of rubbish here because it's not right at all. So the tremolo needs setting up. I can tell you straight away, there's no way that intonation is anywhere near close. It is absolute rubbish. The problem I have with this one, which is strange because it comes with a D-tuner, the problem is, we say screw this one all the way out, it doesn't go all the way out. It's like this final tuner on this one, you have to screw it all the way out. It doesn't go all the way out. And that's probably why the D-tuner itself is not working. I really don't know. It's an absolute pig. So I'm going to have some fun with this. Is it in tune? I'll tell you why it is in tune. I did tune it in on Saturday. I undid the locker and I set it all up. When I got this, I don't know if it's supposed to be flat to the body or what, it says you need it horizontal to the body, and I set the Floyd up properly. And still that D-tuner is not doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to have a look at mine. In fact, I'm going to get it out now. Now look at the destructions in it. If I could open this pigging thing. Here, straight away, look. So here's mine, brand spanking new in the box. There's mine, that's all the gubbins. There's no way he's having any marbits. These are marbits on my D-tuner. But I do have an instruction booklet. And I know they're not big. I've got a friend who has these on his guitars. And he swears by them. He says they're brilliant, just get straight into drop D, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. But this one is a pig. Now, I've talked to the owner of this guitar. He says if you can't get it working right, just set the guitar up best you can. He says, but if you can get it working, I'll be really, really, in your debt. So I'm going to look at the instructions here. It's designed to adapt to a double locking tremolo, such as a Floyd Rose or Floyd Rose license version, final tuner, blah blah. The EVH D-tuner is available in chrome black gold. Yeah, we know. You'll be retrofitting a D-tuner on the low E string saddle locking screw. Once it's in place and set up, what you have to do is switch from E to D and back again. Is slide the mechanism in while exerting a small amount of downward pressure for E or out for D. Downward pressure, it's not having it. Not doing nothing. Honestly. So if I put some downward pressure on there, oh, you can push it in. Let's pull it out and push it. Oh, right, okay. But pushing it in is an absolute bind. It is nowhere near as easy as it should be. That is because this tuner, this number one here, doesn't go all the way out. What if you want to change tuning mid-song? Why would you want to do that? I personally set a guitar for a tuning. I've got them set in various ways. I mean, Metelli, for instance, that's in E flat, so it's a semitone down. My Solar, which I use for metal, is in drop C. It'll stay in drop C. I won't be changing. It's got an Evertune bridge on it. There's no way I'll be changing tunes on stage. It'll take me about 5 minutes. I set a guitar for a tuning. So if you're going to play in drop D with Floyd Rose, set your guitar up in drop D. Leave it there. That's just me. That's just me. This is an absolute pig. It does work if you do that. So maybe you've got to do that. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe the guys expect it to go in and out really easily without bending down. So I would suggest that you roll your volume off when you're changing to another tuning, and pull your tremolo down like that and do whatever you want to do. So that is in drop D, listen. Sounds pretty good. And this should now be an E. Almost. It's not quite right, is it? But I'm not going to plug the tuner in. It's not quite right, so it does need some fettling and some setting up. So okay, let me show you with it on here. So what they're saying is, it's not in tune, but when you want to go into drop D, you're saying to press some downward pressure and pull it out. Let's try this then. The reason it's not staying in tune, I know this, I did not stretch the strings in, so the strings do need stretching in. I don't know why this has become a secret, setting up Floyds. I get so much hassle from people saying they're crap, they're rubbish, you never stay in tune, this, that and the other. Yeah, let me tell you why. You're not stretching the strings. I stretch the absolute heck out of strings when I'm setting up a Floyd Rose, and then I stretch them again. I probably stretch the strings 6 times each, sometimes more. And I get all the stretch out before I lock anything down. You have to do that with a Floyd. So it's probably being a swine because of that. I can already tell by where these saddles are, by the way. There's no way the intonation's right on this guitar. So it's going to sound like a pig anyway. So when it comes to using the D-Tuner, you're supposed to take some pressure off and press it in. That works. And then take some pressure off and pull it out. So that is working correctly. If you're trying to pull it out while it's like that, you ain't going to do it. You've got to put some downward pressure, take some pressure off. And to push it in, you've got to take some pressure off. You've got a spring behind it, holding it. So always do this with your volume down so you don't look a knob on stage. And once it's set right, it should go into whatever tuning you want. Do I like them? Not particular. Are they useful? Well, they're useful if they work. What more can I tell you? If they don't work, no, they're not useful at all. It's crap. You know, will I keep mine? Doubt it. If I get this one to work, I can obviously get mine to work, and we'll see where we are. Do I like dropping it into drop D? Do I need to be able to drop into drop D from E at the drop of a tremolo on, for want of a better expression? I don't like how this tuner doesn't come all the way out. It says it must come all the way out. Well, it doesn't. You've not built your Floyd like that. So let me tinker about with it. I'm going to have a look at the intonation and everything with these old strings on. I'm going to set it up with these old strings on, and I'm going to try and get that D-tuner working and functioning properly with the old strings on. So I can't tell you position of the frets. Now the frets are beautiful. They are a medium jumbo to a jumbo size, but they're not like the big stupid fat 3mm ones, but they're high. I love fat high frets, not super fat. I like them to be about 2.8mm wide maximum, but I love the height, because the more height you have, the more chance you've got of levelling them off later on and getting more reprofiles out of them. It means your frets will last a lot longer. These to me look like a perfect fret. They look to be about 2.8mm wide by about 1.4mm high. That is brilliant. The things I don't like about Floyd's, the action at the first fret seems to be a little bit high. You can't lower them because a nut is not shimmed. This is just a nut on the shelf. But that said, I'm not even going to get into what it looks like. I don't like relic guitars. I believe if your guitar looks relic, it's got to look relic. It's got to be relic because you played it for X number of years. I don't say mine relic. But that's just me. There is a market for these. The owner obviously likes it a lot, and I am going to do it justice and give it the best setup I possibly can. And all being well, we'll get that D-tuner working properly, and then we can get to look at the frets in a bit. I do know some of these frets are high, so it is going to need some kind of fret work. So leave it with me. We'll see where we are, and I'm going to change the angle of the camera, and we're going to have a look. And we're going to check the intonation, see where we are with all of that, and I'm going to set this up properly with the old strings on, see if I can get everything working. Then we're going to whip the strings off, we're going to look at the frets and see where we are with that. There's no immediate rush for this. Guy's not coming till Thursday, it's Monday. but I want to have a go at it today because I've done a couple of other projects, and sometimes I drop off one to go on another just to vary my day up a little bit, and that's what I'm doing today. So great day. It's a free day for all of us. Most of us are getting paid for having today off. I'm not, because I'm working for myself. No one pays me when I have a day off, so that's the way it is. But you know, hey ho, them's the breaks. I'm so blessed to run my own company, so I'm not complaining, I'm just making an observation. Anyways, back soon guys. So the information I was missing for this D-tuner is that the tremolo has to be blocked off. Now I didn't fancy blocking it off, I never do fancy blocking them off. I always buy a trem stopper, and lo and behold, unfortunately I actually had one in stock. I don't know why I bought it. I think I bought it for someone else's guitar and he didn't go that route. But there you go, that's that little gadget there, screws into your body, and by the way of adjustment of this spring and this screw here, using a Allen wrench, you set the block onto this pin, or you set the pin onto the block, and that basically blocks the tremolo off. So the tremolo now will not pull backwards, it always stays in that horizontal position right there. And that is how you set it for a D-tuner. The tremolo has to be blocked off. I was not aware of this, so that is it. So there, or you screw it right down to the body so it can't move. You don't want to do that because you won't get any forward movement either. So with it raised off, we now have the tremolo set dead level, so we can't pull back, we can only dive bomb. And now the D-tuner works. You have to set off some tension, just press it down and pull it down, and there you go. So there's a D-tuner working properly. So all we've got to do now is we are going to have to get it set to the D and the E. So that is not going to be too difficult. I've got the instructions here because I've got the instructions with my own. So we're going to be able to set the D-tuner, and that makes all the difference having that trem blocker there. So I've managed to sell that. Don't know what I paid for it. I think it was 17, 18 quid. I'm going to charge 20 quid for it, and a little bit extra on for installing it, as you do. So I think we'll say 30 quid all round for that part there. I'll chuck a free Allen key in with it as well. So it's a little bit extra on top. We've got the tremolo with Floyd Rose setup anyway, is 25 quid on top of the setup. So we're definitely going for a setup. I don't know how many frets we need to level yet, we'll have to check that later. But I'll tally it all up, I'll keep it as cheap as I possibly can, but fair. End of the day, I've got to charge my prices because, like I say, I've not put my prices up for 3 years. So, but yeah, there you go. So we are going to be able to set the D-tuner up properly. Is that a dummy pickup, or does that pickup work in there? Because that pickup is about 10 mile lower than it wants to be. I'll actually go find out. I'll read up on this guitar. Again, there's other things that on this with my work that you don't see, like the research I go and have to do as well. There's something else with this trem stopper there. I thought the screws that came with it were too long. I thought they might go in and poke through to the pickup, so I've removed those and I've gone with some screws I had in stock, which are fatter but shorter, and I've gone with a pair of those. So that is nice and stable back there, it's not going to move anywhere, and yeah, it's all good. So I'm going to tinker about, I'm going to get these undone, I'm going to get the strings stretched in, and I'm going to come and set up the tremolo and the D-tuner. First I'm going to set up the tremolo, get the intonation set, because I don't know exactly where the intonation is right on this. I've not even checked the intonation, so it's something I've got to do, because if we're not setting the intonation, there's no point setting anything else up. So back soon. Nice and messy on the benches because I've just emptied all these Allen keys out just to find one for the client that fits the locking mechanism at the back. I've also removed the D-tuner itself just to check that everything is working okay and everything's there, and it is fine. We have the correct screw in there with the spring. This is a replacement for the original one. We're just going to put this back, all being well, correctly, because this has to go where the old one went, and I'm just going to tighten this back up with the string, tighten up the string clamp. Now again, remember I said I don't know if the intonation's right on this guitar because I've not checked it yet. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to check so that there's not enough of that string in there. I always tell my clients when they're setting up a Floyd Rose to make sure enough of this string end is going into the Floyd Rose, and this is one that isn't. And I'm just going to pull more string through, tighten, clamp that off, because that is only holding on by about 2 or 3 mil. I'm sorry, but I need to see more than that in there. I'd like to see 7 or 8 mil inside there. I don't know what's going off that side. It's Kirby and Ashfield. You never know. I don't have these windows, I have the blinds down, and I lock out the outside. It's Kirby and Ashfield. You know, just saying. That was particularly bad. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to stick the line in there, make sure I've got the right hand key, probably haven't now. Nope. This should be the one. Got a right headache on the way. You thought I was cured of headaches, didn't you? So did I, but apparently I'm not. Apparently that acupuncture's not working either, which is not brilliant. So my doctor can't find me a tablet that works, and I'm paying quite a bit of money for acupuncture. I don't know how that's working either. Right, there you go. So that's all the way in, which is what we like. I'm working against myself, I can't see where that's supposed to go. Right, that's it. So I'm going to clamp this string in. Nice and tight, there you go. That string is now in. Loosen the clamp. And I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to stretch the strings in and set the guitar up. Too many turns on this post. Now we all know that I like turns around posts on tuners, but that's got too many. It's got about 6 turns on it. It's the low E string. You don't need more than 2. But anyway, with a tremolo blocked off, springs are probably too tight, but I like them tight when they need to be. Let's get the tuner in while we're here. See where we are. Well, that's not ideal setting them up with old strings on, but it will give us some idea of where we are. I see these strings have never been stretched in proper, and that's why you're going to have problems. I bet I'd coin it in if I did a proper D-Tuna setup video or a Floyd Rose setup video, because there's so many videos out there, but none of them are brilliant. So we're getting close to where we need to be, and the tremolo is still locked back, which is fabulous. Right, make sure that spring is right at where it is. That's good. Just make sure everything's working right. So that spring is on there also. That's good. And how you work these is you're supposed to press them down, then press that in. But what you have to do with this is you have to get the E, you have to get it set by not using fine tuners. These are all set where they need to be. This is set all the way out. So I'm going to crack on with that. I'm going to stop the camera a minute. I'm going to have a little read of what I need to do, and then we are going to set this up. We're going to set the intonation. We're going to do right. In fact, I'm going to check the intonation right here, right now. Because I may as well get that done. That's an E. The intonation is an absolute mile away from where it needs to be. That needs to go back at 5 mil. Like I said, I bet the intonation's never been done on this guitar. Absolutely right. So let's get the right Allen key for here. That's too big. This is the other one. I knew the intonation wasn't right because I know where these saddles are supposed to be when they're set. And let's go back. I'm not bothered where that goes. That is supposed to go. Probably even going to have to go further back than that. Let me set it here and see where the intonation is. I may move that screw back to the 3rd hole. So take this as a setup video. for now. Right, we are. That is an E. So those messages you may want to. But it's short. The fret note is a little bit short. With being short, it means we have to move the saddle to the right as we look at it this way. Short and right are 5 letters, flat and left are 4 letters. So as you look at it from this direction only on a right-handed guitar, if the fretted note is flat, we move the saddle to the left, both 4 letters, and if the fretted note is short, we move the saddle to the right, both 5 letters. So let's give this one a go again. That'll probably be my wife messaging there. Yeah, we need, it's a little bit short, so we need to move it that way. So I'm going to remove this saddle screw here because it is not in the right place. It needs to be moved back. I'm going to make just have a little look with my eye and see where that is. I'm going to make a mental note of where it wants to be, and I think it needs to be about 4mm back from the bridge plate. So I'm going to loosen that. I'm going to move this screw to the hole behind it. These modern Floyd Roses have 3 holes in the base plate. The originals only had 2. So less adjustment on the originals. This one, I'm going to go back there. Look, I'm going to go right back there to that hole there. I think this will have 3. Has it got 3? I don't know. Who cares? We're putting it on that one. Might have 2. Some of the more modern ones have 3. I'm thinking that that needs to be there. Try and get my thumb out of the way. I don't want to screw my thumb to the plate. Right, there you go. That looks pretty good to me. Might have gone back a bit far there, but just give it a go. So one back, that one should be back, that should be forward, that one should be back, those 2 should be forward. Let me get my own Floyd Rose. This is my Goto Floyd Rose, and there you go. And that's a 3-hole affair. And because I've got the Goto, this is, by the way, this is far superior machine to the original Floyd Rose. It's made much better. It's made in Japan by Goto. Fabulous piece of kit. That's on one of my guitars. But look, that one should be back. That one should be a bit back. That one should be forward. That one should be back. Those 2 should be forward. So I kind of got a mental picture of where the saddles need to be. I also have, I'm inundated with goodness. I also have an original 1980s Floyd Rose, this being a 1986 or before Floyd Rose. And again, you see, these 2 are forward, that one's back, that one's forward, these 2 are back. That's my mental note in my head of how a Floyd Rose should be set up. These are all on that one at the front, they're all down to the front. Now again, this is a made in Germany Scharler version. The proper Floyd Rose, which would have been probably the Kramer distribution, or if it was a bit after 1980, was it 83? 84, it will not be a Kramer, but it will be a Scharler. So this is one of the originals. So I've kept this, keeping this prosperity. It's even got the original arm in there, look, which I think it is it just locks in. You're not pulling that out at all. So yeah, that's one of my own again in my parts drawer. Got a great deal on that. But anyway, back to where we were. Let me have a look at the E string. I've not stretched it yet, but let's have a look at the intonation and see where we are. So this has never been set up properly. Intonation's bang on. So you see that I've moved the screw back, the saddle screw, and I've moved that back a good 4mm, 3mm, and the intonation is correct on there. This one will also need to come back. So I'm going to set the intonation on here. Just give me a few minutes, I'm going to go and find out what these messages are all about and answer them accordingly. I'll bring you back in and we're going to set the intonation. Friends, we have got the D-Tuner set correctly. That's because I set the intonation correctly on the saddles. I also stretched the strings in and locked everything off. The hardest thing about setting this is getting this tuned to D without using the fine tuner. You have to get it locked down into a D, which I've done. And this is really simple to use now. To get it into E, sorry, wrong one, I got it wrong way around. This is E. To get it to drop D, just... So we've got a D. The hardest thing is to set that D without using a fine tuner. Into E, really easy. And you just set this via this little screw here. It is a little bit sharp. It's a bind to get them bang on. I think they are, to be honest, I think they're a waste of time. That's just me. But once you've got them set, works pretty well. That is still a tiny bit flat on the D. It means I've got to undo this and just slightly tighten the string and clamp it back down, but that is going to send all the others out again. So it is a bind getting this to D, but once it's done and locked on here, you've got it in. It's pretty good. Is it 100% stable? I don't think it is. I think it's going to get you close. I don't think it's going to get you bang on every time. For me, not for me. But anyway, with the tremolo now set up, the D-tuner set up properly, and this is the old strings. I did snap the B string, so I had to put one of my own B strings on there, which I'm going to use again when I put a new set on. But now I can remove the strings and I can go and check the frets. So that's as much as I'm doing for today, because I want to put a new knot on my Telecaster before I knock off. And we're about 3:45 p.m. in the afternoon on this bank holiday, September bank holiday, and this day of later rest. You know what it's all about. I'm glad I've been here and not out there. But yeah, I'm going to do that, and I've had a good day here at the workshop, but I'm going to leave this till next time, where I'll be getting the strings off and we'll be checking the frets. Once that's all done, once we've got if the frets need any work, we'll work the frets. Once that's done, we'll be putting the guitar back together, a new set of strings on there. We'll be setting up the Floyd Rose properly with the D-tuner set up, and look how much easier it is now to work this thing. Just in, out, in to E, out to D. There is one little problem. We have used the longer screw in there, but we had to move the saddle back about 4 or 5 mil, so we could do it with using the shorter screw in there, so it's inside this body as it's supposed to be, but it still works fine. So it's working as it should, and that is it until next time. So let's get down to it. Now that we know we can set the Floyd Rose and the D-tuner correctly by means of installing a locking mechanism for the block. This is adjustable by an Allen wrench, by the way, which I have put one aside for the client at no charge. Put his name on there, Michael Winfield. And that is the Allen wrench that adjusts that piece of kit there to where you want it. That's a Freeman's, but that is not free. The installing of it is not free. There's also a £25 extra charge for setting up the Floyd Rose on any kind of setup, but we're now going to look at the frets. And I love these adjusters, these truss rod adjusters. You've got the one at this end that is adjustable by slipping in a piece of well, the right, and I think he's fine for doing it. And I've tightened the truss rod slightly just to get the neck dead straight, as straight as we can get it. And we're still a little bit out. We need to go a little bit tighter, so let us go again. Tighten. I was hoping the neck had settled into straightness last time I tightened it, but there you go. We are there. Alright, okay, that neck is as straight as we're going to get it. Beautiful. You don't always go dead straight. So we've got a straight neck. We are now going to go across with a fret rocker. Now this has 4 sides. They are precision flat, precision level. This is one I had made in Greece by my friend Harris, who mills these and who actually things these himself on his machine. I've seen him make them and they're fantastic. And we have 4 lengths, so we can do 3 frets at a time. And we're going to check the frets for height. And I knew fret 2 was already high. So that's 1. That's high. So we've got 2. A little bit there, but not too bad. So we've got 3 high frets, 4 all the way across. More than 5, we're doing a fret level across the whole lot. That's 4. That's your 5th one, all the way across. I will be moving the camera over here so you can see head on. So we've got 5 high frets. We have 1 more, we've got to do the lot. Right, so far so good at this end. Let's hope and pray there are no more. Because if there are no more, it saves 50 quid. There's 1 there. Okay, so let's say 6. Okay, we're going to say 6, but I'll tell you what, 3 of them, there's not a lot in it. So I'm going to charge for an intensive setup, which is £85, £25 extra for the tremolo, that's £110, £30 for the block inside, that's including the price of the block as well, which is 20 quid. So what did I say, that 85, 25, that's 110, £140 for this, and £5 for a set of strings. So the whole job is going to be £145. That's going to include a fret level, a complete intensive setup, the Floyd Rose setting up with the D-Tuna setting up, which I'm not charging for, and the tremblock installed, and I charge 20 quid for that, 10 quid to install it. So we're going to go £145 with a set of strings. I think all in all, that is the best I can do. So I'm going to look at the frets another day. We will move the camera so it's straight on so you can see the frets flush, and we'll take a fret rocker across and you can see which ones are high. There is nobody swindling anybody at Fret Friend, never has been, never will be. You pay for what you are getting, and I always let you know what you're getting before I commence the work. Now I've already commenced the work on this end, you're already paying for that. But like I say, I'll let you know what I think the guitar needs, I'll let you know the final price, and I'll crack on from there. The camera angle changed for the EVH. We have a neck here, we have a notch straight edge. We've ascertained that the neck is dead straight, or as straight as we can get it. And I'm just going to go across and mark the frets that are high, and I already know fret 2 is high. So I've already marked it off. Fret 3 on that edge. Again, some of these might reseat if I tap them in with a fretting mallet. Another one there, only slightly on the edge. So I assume you've all seen a fret rocker before. This thing I've got in my hand, it has 4 sides, we've milled perfectly flat, and this enables us to, that's a full fret high along the whole fret. 4 flat sides enables us to just check 3 frets at a time, and if we get a rock we know the middle one's high, or high according to the next one along. So we're just going to mark these up. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't really need any more. After 5 you're going to be going for a fret level. That's rocking all the way across, so that's 6 already. I've given him a price now, so can't go up. I don't think any up this end are too bad. All seem to be pretty okay up this end, which is great news for me. And great news for the player, not because it saves him money, but he's got a really nice guitar here. That one just a tiny bit on the edge. We should be able to tap that back in. And on the far edge as well. Okay, so 1 up here, so that makes 7. I'm going to still keep him in under a intensive set. I do say any more than 5 we're going to level the whole lot, but I think I can get these back in just enough. So check the really low ones. That's not so low. I'm going to get a fretting hammer and I'm just going to tap this one in. Now cover your ears. That's fixed for job at this end. Really good. So we can now rub off the pen. Now I didn't use permanent marker. Okay, it's going to polish it out, which is permanent marker. Okay, we'll polish that out later, but that's one fixed. And if I can fix the ones that are only just a little bit out, yeah, that one's not so bad. I went for a client, he says, can you come in at 11? I said, yeah, I've rushed here like a lunatic to get here for 11. So that one's down as well, so that's good. So I've rushed like a lunatic to get here for 11, and it's 11:30 now and he's not turned up. Still high a little bit, but that's okay. So it's making a bit of a difference. Well, I think the client's here, so I'm going to turn the video off for now. I'll come back later, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to spot level the 3 big ones and we'll see where we are with the ones I'm tapping in. So that was me 11 o'clock, so he's been in, dropped me a couple of guitars off. So, where were we? What I'm going to do is, like I say, the ones that have just got an edge that need attention, I'm going to tap back in best I can. And we're going to check them again. And the ones that need a lot of attention, we are going. So we're also going to tap those in, but we're going to see how this one's gone in now, which is brilliant. It means I've got less to work on. I've only got about 3 or 4 to work on now. So that one's got to be worked on. That one's gone in. And that one's gone in a little bit better. So we're just going to tap these in again. So before you go leveling anything, tap the frets in. It might just come a little bit unseated. And what you do is, that's still high. So it's still going to need a little bit of work. Let's see where we are. Yeah, it's still going to need work. That one seems to have gone in now. What I'm going to do is, I'll take the pen off once it's alright, so we don't need to have that one done. So one, that one's now okay. So I think we're now only going to have to work 3 frets. 2, I'm sorry, 1 still. So that's all the way across. Still need to work that one. Still need to work that one. Still need to work that one. It's not so bad in the middle anymore, but the 2 edges. So we've still got some frets to work. I'll have a look at this one up here. It needs a little bit on the far side still. Do with that one knocking in because I don't really want to be working up this end, it's a pain in the butt. Okay, we've got that one done. So the great news is 1, 2, 3. I'm not only working 4 frets, which is still the price of an intensive setup, 85 quid, but it's less I've got to hit with the file. So there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4 frets. So that's not too bad. So I'm going to grab a file, I'm going to spot level these, I'm going to move the camera back up to where it belongs, and I'm going to give them a little bit of a spot level, and we'll see where we are. But absolutely beautiful frets, they are. They're just a great shape and a great height, really, really well fretted. Probably one of the best fretted guitars I've seen. Really, really nice frets on there. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to move the camera. You might have noticed a new layout. I've always used yoga mats as a bench, as a soft part of my bench to lay guitars on, but they do dirty up really quickly. So I've taken to buying the paper on a roll. You know, we're using doctors and stuff like that, so it comes on a big roll, and I just cut it, I roll it up and I cut it to the width, and I lay this down on the mat, and it looks a lot cleaner. So we're going to go with that. But now I'm going to explain to you about spot leveling. So spot leveling I do with one file, this file. This is my Swiss made Gladon Valorbe, or Valorbe file. It's number 4 cut. It's super smooth, but it's super sharp, and it's just a wonderful piece of kit. I'm going to need, right, what we're going to do is I'm going to do these frets on a 1-to-1 basis. So I'm spot leveling. Instead of leveling them all that way and doing the lot, I'm just doing 1, 2, 3, 4. So we check where it's high, and because we've tapped it in, it's only really high on that far side now, which is good. So I need to remove the pen from where I don't need to work it. So it's just this edge here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my number 4 file, when I remember where I put it. I can lose it, I had it 33 seconds ago. Here you go. Using the flat side, I'm just going to steady the file, I'm just going to roll it over and push. I'm just going to level from the top, following the radius. I'll let the file find the radius, and we're just going to check. Keep checking, keep cleaning the file. Keep going. And there you go, we've got it levelled. Tiny bit on this side, just a tiny bit, so we're just going to go same again here. And you get a knack, you get to feel how frets on. That bit's done, and that's done, and that's done. Now what we've done is we've flattened the top, so we need to rebuild that crown. Now, without explaining too much, I've got a file that does it for you. It's a Z file by Stumac, and this cuts both sides at once, but it will not touch the top of the fret, so we won't remove any height, but I'll just use it that way. Then I flip it 180, and it makes it same cuts but opposite there, and basically it's made a slight cut that one side and a deep cut the other. It's done the opposite way around when you move it around. So just going to check that. That's that fret done, and to finish off we're going to use my profiling file, again a diamond file. It's got the crown built in, and we're just going to round it off. Just remove any, if there's any inconsistencies there. That's just rounded it off nicely. I'll show you the cuts on the Z file while we're there. Close it at the bottom, you've got a shallow but long cut, and then you've got a short sharp cut on the top, and you flip it 180 degrees, you've got the exact opposite. Again, a diamond file, a great piece of kit. Let's see if I need to take that. I need to take that phone call, so back in a second. I'm back. I had to take that call. It was a friend of mine, a good friend of mine from church, and we both are part of the same ministry. It's he deals with men's events for the older guys, and they have coffee mornings, but I've been the organiser of men's events at this church for a few years, and we needed to liaise on something. So anyway, that's all done now. So back to where we were. So 3 files. You just saw me cleaning a file there. You always clean your files after working a fret. So we're going to check that one again, because this is the one we've just done, and that's beautiful now. Now you see, what happens is when you work one way, and it goes right, the one next to it often starts being awkward. If you're not one in, one's going to try and pop out. So just see if we can pop that one back in, and that's sorted that out, so that's good. Go back again and check the one we've just done. So yeah, they're now behaving themselves. That's the problem with spot leveling. You sometimes work one and it alters the relationship with the 2 next to it that way and 2 next to it that way. So it's why I don't really like spot leveling as a rule. So that again, it's just at the edges, so I'm going to whip out that middle. Just take the pen off there. I'm just going to give them a gentle tap again. Just see where we are. Let that settle a few seconds. And we're still high both sides, so we're going to level this one. Again, experience shows you where you need to go. Just following the radius, letting the file do the work, not my hand. No great pressure. Because if you get this wrong, you'll be levelling the whole lot anyway, at your own expense. So it's very highly skilled. That's still high there. Still high a little bit there. That one's good. So just not the end bit, just this little bit near the end we need to work now. So again, let the file do the work. So we've got the level done. So again, with the Z file, this will not touch the top. So once you've got the height right, you can't really mess up with this file because it won't touch the top of a fret. So that height is always going to remain. So you haven't got to worry about anything. So that's that one. Clean the file, and again, just round it over. I believe it was this one. That's fantastic. And once these are all polished up again, you wouldn't tell which files have been worked because we're going to polish the lot. Okay, so let's see where we are. That's the one we just did. Check one back, check one forwards, and nice, it's a little bit high there. And the next one along, we didn't even touch the middle, so we're just going to tap that one in. Going to check again. Check back, the one we've just done, and we're all good. That one needs a little bit of work, just on the far side there, hardly anything. I'm thinking that'll be about right where it is. So I do include up to 5 frets on an intensive setup. This being an intensive setup, there's a £25 extra charge for the Floyd Rose. Setting up a Floyd Rose on its own is 35 quid. With the setup you're already having, it's 25 quid. They're not 2-minute jobs, you see. That's really good there. So quite a lot to remove from this one. We're just going to tap it in. Shut one back first, right, that's okay. Okay, so we're going to do quite a bit of work on this one. Always got to check your phone here because I've got that many clients on at the moment. That's my wife, she's on her lunch. Are you having a good day? Yes dear. I'd never call her dear. Busy. She gets it. She knows how busy I am. Right, and that is saying they're done. So we didn't need major work. Thing is, a high fret is a high fret and it's going to cause problems. I was in a rush today. I've because my wife's back at work, I'm doing the cooking before I leave to come here. And great thing is we've got one of slow cookers, which is brilliant. But I had half an hour to get something in there today. And I've thrown something in. I've thrown a beef stew in there. Potatoes, celery, onions, carrots. Tin of tomatoes went in there. Tin of green lentils went in there. I was going to put some pearl barley in, but I thought no, I'll go with lentils. I've chucked some mustard sauce in there, a couple of stock cubes, and see how that turns out. And a good kilo of stewing steak, which I've trimmed all the fat off, getting that to the dog, so he's happy. Then I had to rush out and get here. I do tell you some things, don't I, when I'm in here. But anyway, these frets look to be done. I'm going to check them all from 11 down, then I'm going to go 12 up. But yeah, these frets are now, I say level, that one's a little bit of height there. We're just going to give her a tippy tap. Remember it's number 7 because we're going to come back and check that again in a minute. So that's good. So I'm going to check 11 up. Okay, we've never had that one before. Number 12 is now showing high. That's because when you alter frets around some others, they do tend to pop up a little. It's a good advert for making sure frets are glued in, isn't it? So that's okay now. Number 13 is now doing the same. I'm going to hold 12 and while I tap 13. Looking very good. That's the frets now all level. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to polish the frets. And to polish the frets without getting any, because I'm going to be using that steel wool. We don't want to get any steel wool in any of the pickles. So we're going to cover everything. So we don't get anything in there. We're going to seal all the way around that pickle there. Seal over the whole with the 5-way selector in there and the file pick up. We'll seal everything. Nice piece, but I do like a nice trim tape roll. Everything sealed up, so we can't get any filings from a steel wool anywhere. So being naughty. We're also going to oil the board at the same time, so I'm just going to cover that up. Brush somewhere to help me with this. Don't know if I'm knocking about, don't know if I'm it. This little paintbrush will do. Same again at all of my hands and fingers. There's just some mineral oil on the fingerboard just to treat the fingerboard there. That's soaking 10 minutes or so and we'll wipe it all off. And while that's doing its business, polish the frets. Okay, so I'm going to need a fret guard on there. What have I done with you? Here you are. So we call them fret guards, but they are fingerboard guards. They, if you fit, that will just fit. Stop you rubbing into the wood, because we don't want to rub it into the wood. So where is my piece of steel wool? Right here. And that's it. All I'm going to do is polish over the tops of the frets like so, with the guard in place, so we can't scratch the wood. We'll have these frets looking fantastic soon. Doesn't take long, just pinch steel wool over the fret. I know you can't see it because my arm's in the way, but it's the way it is. So I'm going to crack on and get these done. Once they're done, I'll leave that oil for another 5 minutes and I'm going to wipe it all off, and we're going to come and look at getting the tremolo and the D-tuner and everything set up. So I'm restringing the guitar, and I've just left the last two just to show you that a couple of things. When you're cutting off the ball ends, cut off the ball ends past where it's wound, obviously. It's imperative that you insert the string as far down as it will go behind the clamping block there, so you'll feel it at the end and you'll feel it touch the base, and that's what you want. And with it touching the base, that's when you tighten. I've had people bring guitars in saying strings keep snapping at the tremolo, and they got like 2 mil in. It should take a good 8 mil. I says, yeah, buddy, you're not locking them proper, you're not getting them all the way in. And there you go, it's all the way in, and I'm just going to tighten up. There you go. And you all know I like wraps around posts, so we're going to a couple of wraps around here. I will a little bit of slack there, and if we get a few wraps around, and I'll take that, I'll bend it 180 at this end so it doesn't pull back. You can't pull back now, you see. And I get some winds around there, going lower with each one. Once I've got about 3 around there like I have now, do the rest by hand, and it takes a little bit longer, but it's worth doing. Get it right. Now then, so Floyd Roses. Because so many people come in Floyd Roses, say it won't stop in tune. I say, how much do you stretch the strings? I said, what do you mean stretch the strings? And there's your problem. You stretch strings anyway on every guitar, but you don't with Floyd Rose. You stretch them 5 or 6 times till there's no stretch left in them when it's all locked down, and then it's going to stay in tune. I've got a lot more tension than I need on the back of this tremolo because it's in dive one mode only. You can't. It's the only mode you can have it in when you've got one of those EVH D-tuners on there. And the most difficult thing about this is going to be setting that D-tuner, because it has to be set at D with everything locked down, not using this fine adjuster. Now I'll be using the fine adjusters on the others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them all to the top. And what I'm going to do is give them 3, not 3 full turns, just as many turns as I can get. So it's going to be like 3, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they're like 3 half turns. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's it. I'm going to give them just a little bit more, just even them all off. And that way we're going to get more adjustment down than up, because you're going to need more adjustment down than up. That was pretty good. Quite happy with that. Last one going in. Again, all the way down till you feel it, till it bends. That's secure. We're just going to. Now, remember, I set the intonation with the old strings on, so we should be good there. But we're going to check again anyway with the new strings. I'm going to bend that again 180 degrees, stop it slipping. Keep wrapping underneath. 3 wraps under there already. Do the rest by hand. I'd already set the retainer bar, string retainer, with the old strings on, so everything's set how I need it or where I need it to be. The next part of the job is going to be stretching the strings. I need to go and read the instruction on the D-Tuner to find out which position it needs to be in for the D. Like I say, that's the hardest thing, because when you lock these down, that's got to be in D. You've got no more adjustment, so it's got to be a D. If it goes sharp or flat, you're going to have to undo it again until you get it right, and it takes a bit of guesswork sometimes. So that's the string on, and these are ball ends there. So set of D'Addario 10s on there. They're what I stock mainly, unless someone asks for something different. Just plug in my tuner. And we're going to get the strings close. I'll get my D-Tuner instructions out, find out whether this needs to be in or out. It was one way or the other. It went the other, obviously. So we know we've got a locking clamp at the back of the tremolo. So the tremolo is blocked off. Right then. Need to get it right. E is in, D is out. D is out, that's the out position. To be a D. I should drop D. So I'm going to stretch the strings in now with the, don't forget we've got the clamp there at the back. So the tremolo is stable, the springs are tighter than they need to be, so it's pulling everything back nicely. And now I'm going to need to stretch the strings in, and that is going to take me a while because they take a lot of stretching. So I'm going to do that off camera. Do you really need to watch me stretching strings? I don't think you do, but just give you a pointer. Now remember, when a guitar's laid down, it tunes sharper when you get back in the playing position. If you tune it laying down, everything will be sharp when you pick it back up. So don't set anything or lock anything up until you've got the guitar in the playing position. So you can see this is going to take me a while. You don't want to stretch too much, you're going to be snapping strings or compromising anything. So take your time with it. It is time consuming, it's why I charge 35 quid for setting up a Floyd Rose. We almost got as much stretch out of that as we can, that D string. We keep going, this is the 4th time. And we're going to keep on doing this, and we're going to do it with all the strings until there's hardly any stretch left in them. They'll still bend. I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to get all these done. Once it's done, we can get these locking clamps in position. We'll be ready to lock everything back down. I'm going to show you how we try and get that to lock into D without using this tuner at the end here. I've stretched the strings in, and now the difficult part. Difficult part is with this bass string, because when it's locked here, it has to be tuned to D, not one bit sharp, not one bit flat, but to D. I can't use this adjustable tuner because that's not what they're for. You've got to have it all the way out on these D tuners. So I'm going to attempt to get this all set up and locked in. Always in the playing position. With everything a couple of cents off. I've got to tighten the clamps down yet. So we need to be really fortunate to get this D right onto a D, because we can't alter anything, and that's sharp. Only in that sharp, got to loosen it by. Try there. Again, still sharp, only a tiny bit. So we're very, very close. It's just about getting this tuned to D without having to touch the fine tuner. Again, it's a tiny bit out. Probably worth the effort is D-Tuna. So if it worked right, yeah. That's a D. That's an 8. Perfect. Can lock all the others down. that's a D, beautiful. So I'm going to set the fine tuners. And that's it. So we've got it into D. Don't know what's buzzing, no idea, it's probably that D-tuner. And then we're going to set the E with it pushed all the way in. I do believe we'll just set that with this little grub screw here. That's a D set. So we have got it set. So that's more or less, I think we're more or less done there. Just going to check the height at the 12th fret. If it's anywhere close to where I need it to be, I'm going to consider that a setup. Consider the guitar finished. It's rattling, I don't know what's rattling, I ain't got a clue. It's not my problem. But let's just see where we are at the 12th fret. That's the wrong piece of kit. Certainly did not need that. So that was not that much of a ball ache, but you have to really faff about to get that into a D. Don't forget you can't use that fine tuner, so you have to get it spot on. Let's see where we are at the 12th fret. That's saying 1.75, which is perfect. And on the other side it's saying 1.6, which is perfect. So we are set up. Drop D. Let's check the E. It's a tad flat. Again. Do I think these things are worth it? Not really. Have a guitar in drop D and one in E. I better really play in E anyway. E standard. Beautiful, we are set, my friends. That's fantastic. So I'm going to turn the camera, get the camera into its regular position. We're going to finalise this video. Move my hat, otherwise you wouldn't see my eyes because of the way the light's set up here. But here we are with this EVH Frankenstrat. It is all set up, and it came in, it needed a setup, it needed the frets leveling, needed the D-tuner and the tremolo setting up. The tremolo, the intonation was all out everywhere, so we've got the intonation set. We got it all set up with the old strings on. We installed a trem blocking unit at the back there, so we can set the D-tuner properly. The D-tuner now works as it should. It's in tune, it's playing in D fine. Don't know why it's telling me G sharp. That's because I've got it unplugged, that's why. So yes, I showed you the D-tuner working properly. Onto E. E minor. Beautiful, so it's all done. So let's recap what we've had done. Well, the tremolo was in the right mess. All the saddles were all pushed forward to the front, so the intonation wasn't done. The D-tuner wasn't working at all. That's because we hadn't blocked off the guitar, the tremolo. So we blocked the tremolo off, so it's only dive bomb mode now. Just got a volume on there. Everything else is set up fine. We had some fret issues. We wanted 5 or 6 leveling, so we've leveled all the frets, polished them all up. We've set the neck to how we want it. We set the tremolo at the correct height, and it's all good to go. We put a new set of D'Addario strings on there. With the strings, the whole job is cost £145. That's including installing the D-tuner, stripping and rebuilding the tremolo, installing the stop block there, and the price of the blocker, which I charge £20 for. That's adjustable with an Allen wrench, which I have included free for the client. So you've got an Allen wrench to adjust. You'll never need to adjust that because that tremolo is exactly where it needs to be. But that is it, the guitar is good to go. Like I say, these D-tuners are good if they work, and it appears to be working. How reliable are they? I don't know. I have one, I may move it on, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but that is it until the next project. So I just need to remind you of my website, facebook.com/ng17, that's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I'm Victor, I am your fret friend. Until next time, as always, God bless you, be good to each other, and I'll see you in the next one.